This is Positive Moments with Jean Walters Lucy, personal growth consultant, teacher, author, and lecturer. Hello again, everybody. I'm Richard Miller. Welcome to Positive Moments. This is the second in a series of shows, special editions of Positive Moments, shows we're very excited about because we have a special guest, and that is Don Miguel Ruiz, author of The 4 Agreements and The Mastery of Love. And this is exciting for us, isn't it, Jean?
Yeah, this is very exciting because in these books, especially the 4 Agreements, Don Miguel talks about a powerful code of conduct that transforms your life, and he presents it as a roadmap to enlightenment and freedom. And these are very simple little agreements, but they take a lot of discipline to practice, and it's very challenging. But at the same time, they're written in such a way that anyone can understand them. And I'm excited to be able to present this to our audience because I think it's going to benefit them tremendously.
Very briefly, Jean, what are the 4 agreements?
Okay, the first one is be impeccable in your word. And don't, and that means keep your word clean. Don't say things that you really don't want to generate or add to. And don't take anything personally. Now, that's a big one because I think in our society, everybody takes just about everything personally. And the next one is don't make assumptions, which means before you decide what someone else is thinking or doing or being or whatever, ask them the question. Don't make an assumption on it. It's just your imagination overworking. And then the last one is always do your best. And that means it's not about being perfect. It's about just giving 100% of what you got today to whatever you're doing.
You know, one of the things I liked about the 4 Agreements, something that will solve really a lot of problems, and that is Miguel suggests ask for things. Mm-hmm. You know, you want something from your husband or your wife, and you sort of want them to naturally know what it is.
You mean don't expect them to read your mind? Is that what you're saying? You mean like say, I would really like to have a hug right now?
Yeah, ask for what you want.
But you really should know that because if you loved me, you would.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and it can solve a lot of grief and a lot of problems when you ask for what you want.
Yes, and that it's perfect because, most of the time we are going around thinking, well, that person's supposed to know. Why? Why would they know? They're in their own mind. They're not in yours.
Well, this is a multi-part show featuring Don Miguel Ruiz, and let's get back to the interview.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about the agreements because the book is called The 4 Agreements, and then you followed that book with The Mastery of Love, which is equally wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, I love both of them. And people have called that a powerful code of conduct that transforms your life or a roadmap to enlightenment and freedom. How would you describe the 4 Agreements?
Well, what I describe the 4 Agreements is like a doorway mm-hmm. that is open for whoever wants to cross that doorway. These 4 simple agreements, it can take you as deep as your fear allowed you to go.
Okay.
Because, when you read this book,
mm-hmm.
you have you feel that you knew that already.
Yes, in your soul you did, didn't you?
Yes, and it's so simple and so easy that we can start practicing almost right away.
Mm-hmm.
And we find a big difference right away until our fear stops us. And this is the moment when we have to read the book again.
Yes.
Then when we read the book again, we discover many other things that we didn't see the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because with the work that we already did, we break a lot of little agreements, and we're ready for bigger agreements.
Yes.
Then when we read the book again, we feel that this comes directly from our own integrity.
Yes.
It's like our spirit is guiding us mm-hmm. to discover what we really are.
Yes.
That's why I say that it's like a gate that is open.
Mm-hmm.
And we can walk through, but we need the courage and we need the strong will.
Yes,
to
I
keep
agree.
New agreements
mm-hmm.
and to break all those agreements that we discovered that they're not good for us.
Yes. Well, and then when you talk about the breaking through the fears, you're really talking about changing from looking at life from a fear-based reality or a fear-based idea, and then moving to a deeper understanding that life is really based in love.
Yes, it's changing from fear into love. It's transcending from fear to love.
Mm-hmm.
That in the end, if we go all the way,
Yes.
it is something so beautiful and wonderful, because everything that you do is based in love. Everything that you do is because you love to do it, not because you have to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're with people, it's because you want to enjoy the presence, not because you want to have a conflict or have a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
No, you find something that it was very obvious long before, but we never did it.
Mm-hmm.
That life is to be enjoyed.
Yes.
And
yes.
everybody is to enjoy each other. The entire creation is for our enjoyment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like children and babies know automatically.
Oh yes.
You said in your book that we're like really like wild beings, like a tree or a flower or something, an animal that within ourselves, in our deepest core, that we are wild, like freedom.
Oh well, we can see before we learn to speak, before we have knowledge, the way we really are. Every
Yes.
time that we wake up in the morning and we see our mother's face, we feel that overwhelming emotion, and we don't know that it's love. We don't name it,
Yes.
but we feel it is there. And whatever we do, we're exploring, we try to play, we try to have fun. We live in the present moment. We don't care about the past. We're not worried about the future. And if you notice, in the happiest moments of your life, you're just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even for moments when you're very, very happy, you're just yourself again.
Yes.
You're like that little girl that you're living in the present moment. But there's something that tries to pull you out of there.
Mm-hmm.
A voice that is in your head that say, this is too good to be true. Let's go back to reality.
Whatever that is.
Well, the reality of suffering.
The fear. Uh-huh.
Yes, the
Yes.
reality that is too good to be true.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is not true. This is just the training that we have, the domestication that we have.
Yes. What I notice with my clients is that there's a theme. There's a tremendous fear of being alone. And yet at this time you're talking about really being alone with yourself and enjoying the moment and just finding the adventure and the excitement in the moment.
Well, in certain point, we can see that we only have ourselves.
Yes.
Everybody else is just an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful illusion that is very enjoyable, and we should enjoy it. But absolutely the truth is that when we die alone.
Yes.
When we're born alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the story of our life, we are also alone because it's about ourselves, and it's only our point of view.
Mm-hmm.
We live in our mind, and from that point, we express to the outside, and this is the only thing that we really see, our mind. And everybody else is just a secondary character in our mind.
So basically, when people have this fear of being alone, they're really not. They're so engrossed in the old beliefs and the fear-based beliefs that they're not really seeing that they are great company, that they can be with themselves and really see the goodness and the beauty that is inside of them.
The main problem why that happened is because we make another agreement very powerful that go against us. And that agreement is that we believe that we should be in certain way, but we are not.
So in other words, it could be perfection. I'm supposed to be perfect, whatever that means.
Perfect, but it's just an image.
Mm-hmm.
It's opinions that many people give us during all our life to say, if you're in that way, you're good. If you're in that way, you're good.
Mm-hmm. If
But
you're
at the
thin
same
or educated or...
Yes,
yeah.
but at the same time, they also give you the message, you never can be that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the way you should be, but you never can be. And we agree with that,
Yes.
and we need to prove ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to prove ourselves for somebody else, and even just for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then we know the way we should be according to what we believe, but we also know that we are not, and we judge ourselves based in that agreement.
Mm-hmm. So we're trapped. We're trapped with
Actually,
that.
we are trapped for something that is completely false.
Yes.
For an agreement that is not false, but we agree, and that's why we believe it. And
Mm-hmm.
we're searching and searching for perfection.
which doesn't even exist. If you ask somebody what is perfection,
Well,
they'll come up with all kinds of ideas, but you can tell that they really don't know.
but the truth is that we are perfect already.
Yes.
Everybody is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the biggest lies when somebody say, "Oh, I'm a human. I'm not perfect."
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's perfect. And they say only God is perfect. Well, it's a big contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because if God is perfect and God created us, He only created perfection.
Exactly.
What means that He created us perfect. And if we say, I'm not perfect, and we say nobody's perfect, I think this is the greatest insult to God.
I agree with you. And this sounds like the beginning then of my next question is, how do you learn to love yourself? I mean, it sounds like that might be your a place to begin, to realize that God created me, so therefore I have to be lovable. I have to be loved. Is that how we might start?
And you know what is very interesting and even funny?
What's that?
We don't need to learn to love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
By nature, we do.
Ah.
The problem is that we learn not to love ourselves.
Ah.
We learn to create all those boundaries with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We learn to judge ourselves. We learn to reject ourselves. And we create so many excuses, so many justifications why we are not good enough.
Yes.
And we hate that.
Yes, and so going kind of, if you do spend a little time with yourself, you might be able to get back into that fresh feeling of what it was like in the beginning, where we really thought we were pretty cool.
Well, what I see is a process of unlearning.
Unlearning, okay.
To unlearn everything that stops us to love ourselves and to love everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that process to unlearning, what we will unlearn is only lies.
Mm-hmm.
We will unlearn what is not true,
Yes.
but we keep what is true.
So how would a listener begin to do that unlearning process?
Well, first of all, they have to challenge themselves.
Okay, good.
They have to challenge every belief that makes them unhappy, every belief that limits their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if someone say, "Oh, I cannot speak in public,"
Mm-hmm.
this is a big agreement, a big belief, that the only way to prove that is not true is by speaking in public,
To do it.
by doing it.
Yes.
The action is what makes the difference. That's why the four agreement, do your best.
Yes.
By doing your best is getting better and better and better. Taking action. Take action to prove yourself that everything that you believe against yourself is not true.
Well, another exciting episode of Positive Moments, and that's Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, if you really enjoyed listening to him and want to hear him more, we will have another show next week as we continue our interview with Don Miguel Ruiz. Jean, how would people find Don Miguel?
Well, he does have a website. It's MiguelRuiz.com. It's MiguelRuiz.com. And I think he has listed on there all his seminars and so forth. And he also has a number if you don't have computer access. It's 1-800-294-3203. And you can find out where his seminars are over the phone.
Well, Jean, thank you very much. And we will have more with Don Miguel Ruiz next week on Positive Moments with Jean Walters-Lucy. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks, Rich.
This has been Positive Moments with Jean Walters-Lucy, personal growth consultant, teacher, author, and lecturer. If you have comments or questions on any personal growth subject like universal law, dream interpretation, intuition, self-esteem, or self-empowerment, you can reach Jean at her website, www.spiritualtransformation.com, or call 314-991-8439 and leave a message. 314-991-8439. I'm Richard Miller, and we'll see you for your next Positive Moment.